Ever since we moved onto the boat 7 months ago, people have repeatedly said to us, don't moor in Leicester, don't moor in Leicester. And I took it personally because I grew up here, and I thought, well, I don't remember the canal area being that bad growing up as a kid. So we came through here in April and we had a fantastic time, and it was a very convenient place to moor. And we've returned this time, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the mooring spots that we're going to use in this week, and you decide for yourself, should you moor in Leicester. Now most of you will have one of these, your waterways key, and so you've got access to secure moorings here in Leicester through this gate. But this key also gives you access to the park after they've locked it up, but it only accesses one gate, and I'll show you which one. Now you'll see behind me, it's down these steps to the gate where the canal is, where you're obviously moored. But the only gate that your waterways key will work in is in the gate right near where the Holiday Inn is. Okay, now there's 4 gates, not including the one down to the boats to Castle Gardens, but the one that your waterways key will work in is the one next to the Holiday Inn. And there's a few padlocks on here, and I struggled the first time I came here, and people look at you like you're breaking in. So the key this fits is that one. Now shopping for groceries is never easy on a boat, but this isn't a bad spot to stop if you're on a boat for groceries, because just behind me, Tesco's is behind all those buildings back there, and if you walk down several bridges this way and then turn onto the Upperton Road, there's a Lidl there. So for us boaters, it's much more convenient than your average spot for getting groceries. You haven't got to traipse for miles and miles and miles. Very useful. Another really cool thing about mooring where we're moored at Castle Gardens is you're near to a lot of the really old history of Leicester. I mean, Leicester goes back to Roman times, but this is just behind Castle Gardens where you're moored, and this is one of the original gateways to the old castle that used to stand there. It is Sunday today, but we've just passed through the city gate, or the castle gate, so let's go and have a wander into town. Aside from the close city centre location, the biggest plus really is water point, because Kilby Bridge coming in from the south is the last point you can fill it with water, and after Friars Mill you're looking at one of the marinas on the way to Loughborough. Okay, this is the sort of entrance to the Friars Mill sort of complex, if you want, and you go through, hit this gate and then the one beyond, and then you're onto the floating pontoon. The one downside here that we've noticed is that when they lock this gate in the evenings, they're supposed to leave this waterways padlock so that we can get in and out, but we've never been able to do it. So we found that either we're locked in, or on one case our guests were locked in and I had to ferry them across the other side of the canal, or on one time my wife was locked out. So if any of you other boaters have had the same issue where this padlock has been accessible or not accessible, please leave comments below, because I'd be interested to know. There's a little convenience shop as well, just in case you don't want to walk down to one of the bigger supermarkets. Me personally, I'm going Lidl because the beer's cheaper. Now once you're out of the complex, it's a simple walk down to here and then you're pretty much where the Holiday Inn is on St Nicholas Circle, and you'll hang a left and walk straight into town. It's literally 5 minutes and you'll be right at the High Cross shopping centre. So once you find yourself at this junction, you're basically at St Nicholas Circle. When you're at St Nicholas Circle, it's straight across and you're into town. Now the Castle Gardens mooring, where we were before, is just over the bridge that way, and Friars Mill is just down here. Another convenient thing for us, because we were having the solid fuel stove delivered and it's kind of heavy, it's a convenient place to have that delivered to the boat. So Elliot here, star that he is, brought it in his van and then we wheeled it through the car park to the boat. Where the fun stops. And this is the start of our heating project, more of which I'll be covering in a future vlog, but excited to say the least to be getting warm soon. Alright, well, we've been in the city for a few days now. We're gearing up to leave. I kind of wanted to do a slightly different vlog this week after all the cruising that we did, because we've been told so many horror stories about Leicester from the moment we got on a boat that I kind of wanted to sort of throw my two penneth in, if you will, because for me, perfectly safe moorings, very accessible fruit and veg shopping at the outdoor market in Leicester, and grocery shops, big supermarkets within walking distance, a lot of history and culture on your doorstep. I've not even got to the Space Centre on this particular trip. Real ale and craft beer at the Blue Boar, literally round the corner, 5 minutes walk. Live music at the Firebug, 5 minutes walk. There's a lot of reasons to not avoid staying here for a night or two if you happen to be driving your narrowboat from either Nottingham or to Nottingham, whatever route you're cruising through. If you think you've got to keep going to get out of the city, don't stay for a couple of days. It's worth it. It's nice to stretch your legs because it's so convenient and close by. Yeah, don't listen to the scare stories. Secure mooring. We've not had a peep out of anybody. It's been very friendly, very good indeed. I'd like to thank Catherine in Wichita for using the Buy Me a Coffee link to buy me a beer. I don't mind if it's beer or coffee, but thank you, Catherine, much appreciated. I'd also like to thank Kevin for the Brewdog package, hand delivered, no doubt, much appreciated, and Paz too, who I've known since I was 3 years old, for taking me down the pub and getting me drunk and watching Man United get humiliated. It was a perfect evening, absolutely perfect, so thanks for that as well. Yeah, a little different this week from the norm, not the cruising, etc, etc, but we'll resume that in a few days. And as you saw as well, we've got the heating stove is now started to be installed, so more on that later really as that progresses, because we've only really just started and there's a lot more on that. So at least we won't freeze hopefully this winter, and the weather seems to be, as you probably saw in the video, with all the very windy, blustery weather and the rain, the weather's turning. So I'm kind of glad that the stove has at least arrived, because it's definitely warmth is on the horizon. Alright, hopefully then when I do my end of vlog soliloquy next time, I won't be in a woolly hat. I won't be in the Speedos, but I won't be in a woolly hat. Alright, so thanks very much guys, and I'll see you next time.